Uh, December 8th, 2021 evening. December 8th, 2021 evening. Yep, that's correct. We are back. All right, this is the part number 2. Excuse me while I get comfortable on my chair. All right, part number 2 of the Nephilim free of the disaster that is Nephilim free. I'm picking up some clipping here. Sorry about that. So anyway, in episode number 1, which I left off 20 minutes approximately into Nephilim's little hangout that he had entitled "Why Evolution is Philosophy but Not Science." So really, we've only just seen the tip of the iceberg. So my intention here is to carry on and just listening and see if we can find anything that is true in what he says. I really doubt it very much. Also, I do want to say that essentially the idea is to get to this point here, right, with a room that you can see on the right there where my voice waves are emanating from. It's open discussion. I still have my challenge out there for anybody. I have a couple of challenges. I think the first one is all gods are imaginary. Prove me wrong. And the second one is the Christian God is not a brute fact. Prove me wrong. Okay? Plus, or anything else you'd like to discuss. Questions? I have questions and you might have questions. So come on in. But in the meantime, before we get too carried away with the open room here, let's get back to our friend Nephilim Free. All right, so he's motor mouthing his way through his hangout, and I might have to fast forward through some dead spots, but or just run it at a faster rate. Not sure. Let's just see what happens.
Changed in response to environmental change, and then they reverted. And see, that's evolution, right? So a bird gets a little bigger beak, and then it gets a smaller beak, and that means evolution. That means beaks came into existence from non-beaks.
How does that work? No. A bird has a large beak, it gets a smaller beak, and then gets a larger beak. That means beaks came into existence from non-beaks. Listen to this man. Is he like permanently drunk? I think he is.
See, that's the proof that beaks can come into existence, because beaks can get bigger or smaller. That means that's proof that beaks came into being when there was no beak.
Absolute utter gibberish.
Isn't that brilliant? That's genius. That's evolution science.
Oh,
wow. That's science, you guys.
What is science? When you say a beak became smaller and then bigger, and then that's proof that a beak came into existence out of nothing, that's science? Seriously, between you and me, Nephilim Free, seriously. Do you drink a lot? Do you drink a little bit too much sometimes and then go on the internet? And do you ever, once you've had too much to drink, do you ever maybe talk about how evolution is not science, that it's only philosophy? Do you do that ever? Hey, Neff? Come on, out with it, Neff. Certainly sounds like it.
Right. See, Darwin's finches. I hear you, Tesla. That's funny. That's what they do, though, isn't it?
Come on, get on with it.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, that's hand waving. They call that, in the scientific community, they call that tactic hand waving.
Oh, you know about the
Evolution is a fact, get over it. No, that's hand waving. You're dismissing. You're not even providing an argument. You're just claiming it's true, And that's why it's true. Why is it true? Well, because we know it's true. How do you know it's true? Well, because we know it's true. That's how.
You know, that's ridiculous. You're claiming evolution is true because why is it true? Because we say it's true and we know it's true, blah, blah, blah. This is what he's saying. He's projecting. He's like God. Why is God true? Because it says so in the Bible. How do you know the Bible's true? Because God wrote it or whatever, you know?
We know it's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the law of monophyly. Right. Law. Right, Doki. So, you know, the law of monophyly proves evolution is true. How do you know? Well, because the law of monophyly.
I've
That's
never
how we
heard
know.
that law. Have you?
We know because we know. See? Evolution is true because evolution is true. That's how we know evolution is true, because it is. See? That's the facts. That's science.
I'm gonna speed you up, Nephi.
Well, the philosophies of evolutionists are complex, I agree. They do have some pretty complex philosophy. And they refute each other and argue about their philosophies, but none of that is science.
Okay, you're getting
It's
a
not
little
observable,
quicker.
testable, and repeatable, right? That's the difference, right?
How about predictable? Ever
Now, in
thought about
1980, a group of the biggest eggheads in evolutionary thinking, evolutionary biologists and paleontologists, etc., got together for a conference in 1980 in Chicago. And the title of it was Macroevolution. And what they were trying to discern was, is there a way for us to extrapolate microevolution, which is morphological, to macroevolution, which is anatomical? And the consensus opinion of the scientists that were in that meeting is no, we couldn't do it.
1980? Do you know how long ago that was? Nephilim? You were middle-aged by then. You weren't even this old. You were a strapping middle-aged young man. 1980? Is that the best you can do? 1980? Wow.
The famous evolutionary biologist turned science writer Richard Lewin was present at that conference, and he reported that the conclusion was that the majority of scientists in that conference agreed that we cannot scientifically put forth the idea that microevolutionary change, which is morphological,
Make up your fucking
that relates
mind.
to form, structure, color, size, pattern, can be extrapolated to the structural design change that evolution requires, which is anatomical. See, we can't make the leap. We don't know how to make macro evolution into macro. We don't know.
He doesn't have a clue what he's talking about.
That. And so that was the consensus opinion of the scientists at that conference. It was a very heated conference. There were people arguing with each other, and sometimes the voices got loud. Because, evolutionists are very emotional about protecting their worldview.
Nephilim Free reporting from Scientific Conference of 1980. I have no notes from the conference, but this is what I'm pretty sure they would have said if there was a conference in 1980. So there you go. I have evidence.
Even when questioned by other evolutionists. And so as far back as 1980, scientists have been trying to account for macroevolution with microevolutionary change, which is observable, testable, repeatable.
He goes on about this observable, testable, repeatable. Well, predictable. That does. You gotta include predictability in there, Nephilim. If you don't include predictability, you get an F for fail. Fail.
Macroevolution, which is not observable, testable, or repeatable. See? And they've not been able to do it. And they admit they can't. They've been admitting this since 1980. Actually, before.
Oh, before now.
Publicly. I mean, amongst themselves in a
ridiculous.
conference in Chicago in 1980, acknowledged that we can't do it. We don't know of a way to take microevolutionary change, which is changes to form, structure, color, size, shape, pattern, this kind of change, like moths getting a different color wing, or a dog getting longer hair, or the teeth of a tiger getting longer, beaks of Darwin's finches
Just
getting
listen to this
longer. These kinds
nonsense.
of changes are not anatomical, they're morphological. And we don't
What?
know of a way to take the morphological
Morphological and not anatomical. What the hell is this man talking about? He refuses to explain himself, so I'm just gonna assume he's talking shit.
adaptations of living things and transform that into macro evolution, which says the beak came into existence from a non-beak. The hair came into being when there wasn't hair. The tooth came into being when there wasn't a tooth. You see the difference? One is microevolution, the other is macro. One is morphological, the other is anatomical. But they admitted in the Chicago Conference in 1980,
Guy's full of it, man.
the biggest eggheads of evolution theory, many of them, that they don't know of a way to make microevolution into macroevolution. They don't have the evidence that shows that it can happen. They don't even know how it can happen.
Mm-hmm.
And this was admitted in 1980.
Prove it. Prove it.
That's 40 years ago. 41 years ago. Scientists were unable to give an explanation for how microevolutionary change becomes macroevolutionary change 41 years ago.
And 40 years, 40...
That's a long time.
Yeah, and 39 years ago, they
We
came
have
up with an
learned a
explanation.
lot about biology and genetics since then.
Yeah.
And the fossil record just continues to remain what it is. Evidence of non-change, stasis. That every scientist who's written about the fossil record has acknowledged since Charles Darwin, and was championed by Stephen Jay Gould and Niles Eldredge in the 1960s and 70s.
Oh no, he's going back to the 60s. Jesus
this punctuated equilibrium idea.
Isn't he going the wrong way?
So you see, that's philosophy. Evolution is philosophy. It's numerous philosophies to explain. And the problem with what the evolutionists do is they take their philosophies and then they declare them to be science. And they'll tell you this is what happened.
Listen to this.
They'll take their philosophy about what has happened or why something may be the way it is, and then they'll declare that's scientific, and we know that's science, and that's what happened. So what they're actually teaching you and your kids in public school is what's in their head, ideas about what might have happened or explains why there's an absence of fossil record evidence for evolution. And they'll say, this is what happened, and that's evolution in action. That's the fact. That's what proves evolution. The philosophy in their head, they transform it into science. They'll declare it science and teach it to you, pretending it's science, and you have to believe it.
You have to believe it.
That's how pitiful evolution theory is compared to science. That they take philosophies, declare them to be scientific explanations of things. Now, a philosophy, if it were scientific, it should have supporting physical evidences. The problem with these philosophies is there isn't any scientific supporting evidence. They're simply constructs that they put forth to explain away absence of evidence. If you take the vast majority of philosophies the evolutionists have put forth, like punctuated equilibrium, directed natural selection, to explain non-stasis, synergetic epistasis, also to explain stasis and non-change, and whatnot. You take these, they're all explanations, attempts to explain the absence of evidence for evolution. That's what they are. That's the reason they come up with these philosophies, is to try to explain away the absence of evidence for evolution. And they'll declare this idea is science, and then teach your kids that this is what happened, and that's science.
That's science.
Do you understand? That's not scientific. That's philosophy.
Science is not scientific.
That is declared to be science falsely. It bypasses the scientific
falsely?
method, which is repeatability, observability,
And predictability?
and declares it science. Their ideas about why the evidence is
How many of you are actually on Nephilim Free's side here? Because to me, he's talking the biggest load of nonsense. I'm not sure if I can take any more of this, and I've only been doing this for 10 minutes. No, yeah, 10 minutes. But let's soldier on, because we're soldiering on.
And this is what explains it, and that's what happened. That's what they call science. And that permeates evolution theory. In fact, the vast majority of evolution theory is nothing but philosophy.
Oh, is that right?
Falsely declared to be science.
Falsely declared to be science. Got it?
And I gave you two examples: punctuated equilibrium and directed natural selection.
Directed natural selection. What's that?
And neither one of them is science. It's philosophy about why there's an absence of evidence that the anatomical form of an organism can transition, or has transitioned from one to another, which would have happened millions of times had evolution been true. Had evolution been true, there would be countless examples of transition in the fossil record. Countless, millions of them. But they can't find them.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Nephilim, you carry on talking. I won't disturb you because I'm sure it's bothering those in the chat. So I will let you carry on talking, but I will interject when necessary.
I can't find any. So, you see, evolution theory is a giant package of philosophy, falsely declared to be science, taught as though it was science. And that's an abomination to science. If scientists were to demand that science be science in academia, they would have to kick every evolutionist professor in every university. They would have to meet with them and privately say, there will be no more of your use of philosophy to describe to declare as science fact. You can't do that anymore. If you if you continue to do that, you will be fired, because you're telling people that what's in your head is science. That's what would happen if the scientific community was to stand by what's science and the scientific method about the teaching of evolution. They would have to filter and police their own camp so heavily and so profoundly that they would end up kicking all of them out, including themselves. But they don't do that. They won't do that. So here's the link to join again. Are you wants to come in and discuss evolution theory or whatever you like, you're welcome to come in. And you can say, I'm a liar from the sidelines, but then you need to be able to demonstrate that. Hopefully you have the gumption to do that. I'm going to take a 2-minute break. When I come back, I expect to see an evolutionist naysayer who says, I'm full of crap, in this live stream explaining why. Otherwise, you're just a sideline pundit. There's nothing worth listening to. Be right back. So here's the link to join again. I see there's a couple of naysayers in the audience, but they don't seem to have the courage to step forth and explain why I'm wrong. They just want to say in text that I'm wrong. That's quite common. Two things, I think. One, my knowledge of the subject is too extensive for me. possibly theirs is too limited. And because I'm very stalwart about what I believe to be true, I don't compromise. I think that scares them. They're afraid of me. They've been for years. That's just the way it is. But I don't mind educating the public a little bit about things like punctuated equilibrium and directed natural selection, and the controversy within the evolutionist camp about these things over the years, because they fight and argue with each other over them. They have been forever, especially the fossils, because the fossils don't show evidence of clear evidence of transition. The evolutionists themselves have all admitted this. They're trying to explain it away with philosophy, and they can't do it. And they admitted this in 1980 at the Chicago conference.
This is such a lot of shit that I'm glad you guys are hearing this, because this is going to make history this has got to be the dumbest person on YouTube, Nephilim Free. He has to be. He cannot be this stupid and keep a straight face unless he was a professionally trained actor or extremely drunk, as we all suspect him to be. Do we not? Carry on, Evan.
We can't explain it. We can't explain stasis, and we can't extrapolate microevolution to macroevolution. We don't know what's going on here, but we don't have the evidence.
Yeah. If you guys want to take this away, take it to a chat room, I'd be for that. So you come on in, join up the chat room. Here we go. Here's all the information you need. Join by phone. There's the number. There is the PIN number. And in the meantime, we'll just listen to Neph. Carry on, Neph, while I'm playing this Neph video just in order to stop the Neph video, and in order to stop the Neph video, you gotta join the chat room, the voice chat room. We don't have to. We'll just listen to Neph for a while. I don't know how long I can take this.
There's something missing, and we don't have it. But they held to their belief dogmatically that evolution is true.
Evolution is true.
They hold to it religiously because it's religion. It's not science, you see.
Oh, yeah. It's religion.
It's not science. It's philosophy. Philosophy based on a paradigm.
Not science. Okay.
Didn't create anything.
Right.
And nature must be the explanation. Because if God created them, then he created me. And that means God exists, and I have a moral authority over me. I don't like that idea. So we've got to transform the world to believe a lie. Now, I'm going to discuss something else also that's truly amazing. Evolutionists have a new campaign. And the campaign is to indoctrinate children to believe evolution before they become firm believers in creation. That's what they're attempting to do now. And this is terribly sad and pitiful. And I'm going to share on the screen with you something to that effect. I want to show you so you see it for yourself. So here we go. This is a paper published in the science journal Nature, the most prestigious science journal. And this is psychological science. This is published in, it's also published in Nature. This paper states, young children can be taught basic natural selection using picture story book intervention. Intervention. Now that's amazing. They're talking about intervention. What are they trying to intervene into? Well, they're trying to intervene in the fact that children from a young age automatically believe in a designer that explains the world around them. I'm going to show you a quotation by a prominent psychologist that verifies this. Give me a second. And then you'll understand better what you...
This guy, he doesn't realize he's making an absolute fool of himself. Or does he? I mean, is he that confused? Do I have a phone link? I do. What country are you in? Algorithm. There's a phone link from North America, and there's a link from every country, like a local link with a PIN number. If you tell me what, well, in the description of below this video are the North American number link, the Google chat link that you can join with Google Meet, I mean, and also a link to the list with all the countries' numbers around the world where you can join on your phone from a local number. And all countries have the same PIN number. Yeah, it is a phone link. The one on top is a phone link. The one on top. Where are you, Al Gore? Are you in Australia? If you are, tell you what. I tell you what I can do. You are in Australia. Oh yeah. Whoops. Yeah. I'm gonna put this in the side chat there. All right. To view more phone numbers, here's a link. Click on that link. You want to have a link that's not phone? Oh. You just open your Google Meet or click on. Yeah, I'll put the link. I'll put all the links in. No big deal. All right, so that one that's in there right now will give you. That's a link to the international local numbers. This one here, maybe this is what you're looking for. Is the link to join on the app or the browser. All right. Oh shit! Before I carry on, before I do anything, we're gonna listen to Nephilim free, and I gotta check. I gotta check some settings. But anyway, here we go. Nephilim.
You see on the screen now. It's amazing. I'm looking for it now. Let's see here. Here we go. Yep. Give me just a moment. I'm going to make a slide and I'm going to show it, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm pretty quick on this computer, so it won't take but a minute. And then you'll better understand what you see on the screen. You have to understand this first, I think.
Hello. Hello, hello. I'm very well, and you? Excellent. You're torturing us playing all this.
Okay, well,
He's just
I'll stop if you considering that you're here.
it's all
That
right.
actually no, that was my point, was to get someone in here so I could stop playing Nephilim free.
He just like he's not even wrong. He just doesn't have even the most basic understanding of what
Nothing,
the hell he's talking about.
not a clue.
Yeah, I don't know. And I mean, he's kind of like any of them, like G-Man or Tangelo. I mean, he's been challenged, debunked, and corrected thousands of times, and he still just spews the same nonsense over and over and over again.
Well, you know what's happening now? Like he's been doing this at least 10 years, right? Or more.
Yeah.
But now he's like me. I've been doing this for the same amount of time. But now we're both just washed up old men. And the younger kids are coming in and they don't buy any of his shit. None of it. So he's just a little laughing stock now for the younger generation. That's what he's landed up as. You know.
Well, I think he kind of went away for a long time, just faded into the irrelevancy that he deserves. But I think James at Modern Day Debate brought back a whole lot of these guys just because no one else would go on, and now suddenly he's sort of like feels that he's got a voice again. Or
Well,
something.
he
I
got
don't.
absolutely humiliated at Modern Day Debate. I covered that I covered
Oh
that.
yeah, that was funny.
I covered that, I think, in
Yeah,
my previous video.
yeah, yeah. If he can't monologue and spew nonsense, he doesn't want any part of
Unfucking
it.
believe. Did you
He's like,
listen to that shit?
yeah. I just heard the part that I didn't. I don't go on that channel, but I heard you covering him.
Yeah, I just made a 3-minute video, and
yeah,
which is all it needed.
yeah. I mean, even James won't put up with his crap anymore, which is saying something because he puts up with an awful lot of crap.
Yeah, that was amazing. You wouldn't let him. He got one sentence out. I think, what did he say?
Yeah.
I will never again ever debate.
Yeah.
And then he got cut off.
Yeah.
You see,
Well,
that's
and he
what
was
I mean.
debating like one of the most polite, tolerant people
Yeah.
that do that
I mean,
stuff.
Darth Dawkins, by the way, this guy, James Coons, Darth Dawkins refused to go on Modern Day Debate if this James Coons was the moderator. That's how much.
Which is weird because he lets people do what Darth loves to do. So I don't know what happened. I mean, Darth has been on that channel, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason is that because you know how Darth is. Don't overtalk me. It's Darth Dawkins rules or no rules.
Yeah.
So he pretty much wouldn't let the guy moderate. Wouldn't let James moderate, and the guy and James, instead of getting angry, he just started laughing at it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and Darth's ego is so fragile that's. I mean, the only thing worse than that is being proven wrong by a woman, I think. So.
Ooh. I couldn't imagine the scenario. You know what? That must have happened to him on a daily basis when he was married.
Yeah. I can't even imagine that. But I mean, to this day, he goes on about Shannon Q because Shannon Q just wouldn't put up with his crap.
Oh, I watched that live. That was such a beautiful.
I mean, what
thing.
was that, a year ago? And he still name calls her because he isn't over it yet.
He's such a bitter person inside that it's almost difficult to even conceive of how torn up he really is inside.
Yeah, he's just a black husk. I just don't understand I mean, you almost have to really wonder what happened to him for him to become like this, because it's not because of what's happened to him online, and it's not from debates, and it's not because of the evil atheists and all the deceivers and the people that are younger than his tennis shoes. Something else happened to the man that made him like this. And
well, he from a kid, he became he got married and had 3 children. Then he left his wife for a period of time, and then he came back to his wife, and he had another 2 children. And after, I don't know, what, 30 years of marriage, something, 20-something years of marriage, that ended with the result that neither his ex-wife nor any of his children speak to him. He was not invited to his daughter's wedding. I don't know how many kids he has, but I mean how many daughters he has, but for sure a daughter did not invite him to the wedding. I have texted his oldest son, who speaks, who does not speak very favorably at all about his father. And he leaves just a wake of destruction behind him.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, would you invite him to a wedding? I mean, when the minister asked if anyone objects, I mean, Darth would stand up and say, "This wedding can't proceed until you can prove what grounds impossibility and possibility."
Look, he grew up in a
Answer my question. Stop over
yeah,
talking.
really. He grew up in a Catholic family, so I'm assuming that his daughter went to church, got married in a Catholic church or something, and they knew that he was gonna be a bit of a performance artist, and so they didn't invite him.
Yeah. Do you have any idea if his family are still religious, or did he drive them away as well from religion as well as his black personality?
They're Catholic.
They are still, as far as you know?
As far as I know, his family's Catholic, and not that they have to be religious or anything, but
no,
Catholic,
whatever they want,
nevertheless.
Yeah. I was just wondering if that his whole toxicity drove him away from that as well. But
well, I don't.
If that's what they grew up understanding Catholicism to be.
Yeah.
How could you not go running, screaming from the room? Really?
Yeah, there is that. But he's anti-Catholic to the point where he's almost as anti-Catholic as I am. But although I don't think anyone can be as anti-Catholic as I am.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't even care or anything about his theology or his philosophy, because none of it's grounded in anything other than him abusing people and being right. Like he could, I don't think what he argues matters to him. It's about being right and being in charge. I mean, he could be arguing for the spaghetti monster and he would still be the same.
It's about
it's got nothing to do with his theology.
Control.
And people talk about him representing religion. I don't think I don't ever associated him with religion. I associate him with a really
absolutely
sad, horrible person.
I absolutely associate him with religion because he's a sad, horrible person.
Yeah. Yeah, and
for the same reason that
religion, but he's
no religion is not my friend.
Horrible unto himself. It doesn't. Religion is almost a sidebar, really. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's funny. I mean, is Mr. Batman still married? Maybe Darth and Batman could get together and form a couple.
Mr. Batman is married on paper only. He's never consummated his marriage with his wife, which led to them having extremely huge problems in their marriage that descended into very, very extreme health problems.
Because he was really large for a while, wasn't he?
Yeah, and then they had surgeries, and but they've never consummated their marriage because essentially, Mr. Batman is a gay man. Yeah, he's Mr. Batty Man.
Well, maybe he could make Darth really happy. Get those two together. Where does Batman live?
Batman lives in Kentucky, Indiana, somewhere around there.
Too far away. Yeah, it'd be a long distance relationship then.
Yeah, Darth lives in
Isn't he in Jersey or something?
Yeah, somewhere, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. But I don't know for sure. That doesn't matter. He's in a basement somewhere in the United States.
Yeah. I don't know. It's all just so weird.
But you know the thing about Mr. Batman, Mr. Batty Man, is that he actually is disabled. He has admitted, at least, look, I don't know if this is true or not, but he's admitted that he has a brain injury. So,
I vaguely remember something about that.
Yeah, he has said that, but again, he's such a liar. Who knows?
And is that what excuses his behavior, or is that a direct cause to his?
No, he uses it as an excuse when he talks himself into a corner and he doesn't know how to get out or something. Oh, I got a brain injury, so you must excuse me.
But unlike Dorothy Pooh, I mean, Batman, he goes out and he street preaches with a megaphone, doesn't he? Like he's
Batman does that.
yeah, it's
But
pretty.
Mr. Batman.
Yeah, doesn't he go onto like university campuses and yells at people for being gay?
He goes to university. I don't know about university campuses, but he goes to these public events, public markets, public.
Yeah. Yeah, it
He
might not be him, but they all
he
blur.
he
They all blur
actually
together.
number one he films them, puts them on up online. I don't know if he has lately, but I've certainly done a video or two on Mr. Batman. I have a Mr. Batman playlist. You'll probably find one or two of them with the preachy stuff.
He hasn't reared his head for a little while, though. I don't know if he's.
Oh, no.
Is he still active? I don't even know.
Who? Batman?
Batman, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Well,
I try to avoid anything to do with those, like him and G-Man and Darth and all those guys. I mean, it's just
I get all my news about G-Man and Darth and Batman and Revelation News, Shani and all those people from what's his name, J-Dubs, from all those who archive and make fun of them and react to them. Yeah. So
of all of them, though, like I could see. I mean, if you weren't talking and trying to debate and argue, I mean, G-Man out of all of them would probably be the most pleasant just to sit down and have a coffee with.
Oh no, not G. No,
I mean, it's a pretty despicable list. Don't get me wrong, but out of all of them, like I could see him actually being like talk about his cat or something. It'd still be a reasonable conversation, maybe. But
with those eyes, no. He'd probably put a hand on your leg, and start stroking
I'd want to stay
thigh. Yeah, you stay away from G-Man.
Well, if he's been anywhere near,
I think G-Man is close to Darth Dawkins.
Yeah.
If I think they both live in the Jersey area.
Yeah, and if he's actually been anywhere near Shani, that's not something you would really want.
Oh, yes. Oh, Shani and G-Man, I believe, have exchanged fluids.
Yeah, that's a disturbing thought.
It's a very disturbing thought. I know. You think, you think, you wonder how these diseases get spread all over the globe.
Yeah.
Not mentioning any names.
Well, sorry. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. Thanks for that.
Sorry, man.
Anyway, I need to run, but I just thought I'd pop in and say hi and stop the Nephi diarrhea stream of
I've still got
a little bit, but
I've still got 2 hours of Neph to go.
Oh, you poor bastards! No, it's end of the day here. I need to get going and do a few things, but I thought I'd jump in and say hi. I've threatened a few times, so
yeah, no, I appreciate it.
Thought I'd do it. So
yeah, it's good to put a voice to the avatar. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I'll try again once in a while, but just the time difference just is crappy. It's what is it? Thursday at just after 5 o'clock in the evening here. So
Thursday, 5. What are you like Eastern Australia or something?
Yeah. Eastern Daylight Savings Time here.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Thanks for popping in. Have a great day.
All right. I'll try again. Thanks. Keep it up, Sidney.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Well, that was great. I feel so lonely. All right. So the thing is, what do we want to do here? Do we want to carry on listening to Nephilim Free, or have we pretty much had enough? If I were to follow my gut, I'd say that we've had enough. But I don't control anything, you guys do. So I'm going to turn to the people in control and say, Mickey D, hi, Henry Henson, hello, welcome. Hope you're still watching. Algorithm was in here before. Hey, Wesley Curry was watching for a while. Hi, I am Wesley Lawrence Curry II. Black Poodle. I have not seen your name before. Welcome to the channel. We have some preaching in the side chat, do we? Well, Henry Hansen, how's it going? I didn't notice you. Didn't notice you if you're atop of the list or not. Sorry. Transit YouTube. Welcome. John Rapp, howdy. How you doing? Aren't you also in Australia? Isn't it also like bedtime or something for you? All right, now what is this? These are trolls, right? Eleanor Rose and Rebecca Porter. I have no idea what those messages mean. Excellent. So what do you guys want to do? You want to listen to some more Nephilim Free? Because it's really entertaining, if nothing else. I've got to admit. I mean, it's like very, 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 very bad science fiction. Although, no, it's not even science fiction. Yeah, it's like reverse science fiction. But it's still fiction. You want to listen to him some more? I don't mind. I'll give him a little bit of a listen. Because he's talking about, you know, how they indoctrinate children. Remember, he was talking about this article. Young children can be taught basic natural selection using a picture storybook intervention, and he's having a bit of a hemorrhoidal attack. Thank you, Darth Dawkins, for the phrase. So listen to some more. All right, John. Drive. Are you in a bus or driving?
Almost there. Okay, here we go.
Oh, here we go.
So let's see here. Let me get back to the right screen.
Oh, this guy's isn't it?
Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to share this.
It's off. I don't see it. Well, in the stream, y'all, it's not up. Let's see. Let's see.
You're in the Hangout now. So
yeah, I know.
There you go.
So
Alison Gopnik, professor of psychology, UT Berkeley.
There you go.
That's Ivy League University. Okay, they are the biggest pushers of evolution theory in this world, and she states, she received her BA from McGill University and a PhD from Oxford University, possibly considered the best university in the world. She's a world leader in cognitive science, particularly the study of children's learning and development, the author of over 100 journal articles and several books, best-selling books, including critically acclaimed popular books. So she is one of the movers and shakers in the world of psychology today. She's one of the world's foremost authorities in psychology. She says, by elementary school age, children start to invoke an ultimate godlike designer to explain the complexity of the world around them, even children brought up as atheists.
Well, hold on a second. Obviously, by elementary school age, children start to invoke an ultimate godlike designer to explain the complexity of the world around them. Even children brought up as atheists. In other words, children have imaginations. Who would have thunk? Oh, we have
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Wesley Lawrence Curry II. How are you?
I'm very well, Wesley Lawrence Curry II. How can we help you today?
Well, I first would like to just hear a little bit about you, and maybe tell you a little bit about myself before I just jump into some sort of diatribe claiming spiritual knowledge and facts that, you know.
Yeah, no, we're not. This is not a good day for talking about for diatribing about spiritual anything. This is not a good day for that because we've got a crazy man on record here, Nephilim Free. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but we've been playing he's an anti-evolutionist and he's a little crazy. So I don't know if you can relate to this guy, but he's the focus of what we're doing today. However, Wesley, thank you very much for joining. Can you say things to us that are not in any way preaching or scripture or anything like that? Can we talk about something that's more worldly, do you think?
I believe so.
All right.
I don't have any problem with that. I do it 99% of the time anyway.
So what's on your mind today, or do you have any questions? I thought you said you had a question when you came in.
Well, what do you like to do? What name should I use to refer to you here today?
You can call me Sidney.
Sidney, we've talked. We spoke once, and you let me speak.
Correct.
Not ad nauseum, but for a minute or two about the dream.
Right. That's right. That's right. Yeah. So yeah, so you've had your say, and I'm really glad that I'm still happy to this day that I gave you that time. Because
good to know.
Because I saw what it meant to you, basically.
Well, it did mean a lot to me, and I'm rarely listened to, and
yes.
It's perhaps going to be the last thing spoken on Earth at the extinction of mankind. But I was just going to say there will probably be 12 days of fish and bread sent by angels that any that would say thank you, Jesus, can eat it, and then no one's going to say thank you, Jesus. So at the end of those 12 days, I'm going to ask Jesus just to give everybody a piece of candy and maybe a little toy that they don't have to say anything. So it'll be a manifestation of spirit into the physical plane for everybody on Earth that claims they are Christians to observe. Because as I said before, I don't believe that anybody in any church on this day that says Jesus is God really believes it, because they all have denied the resurrection, the second coming. But that's all the spiritual stuff. Let's do the worldly stuff.
All right.
I saw Jesus wearing a Beatles wig at Wrigley Field. And it's true, I really did. So I guess he was trying to tell me he's bigger than the Beatles.
Well, the Beatles actually existed, even though they broke up.
Yeah.
Jesus, on the other hand, well, you know, it's pretty much one of those old wives' fables that get passed down from generation to generation to generation to generation for 150 years until it's eventually written down. That's what Jesus is, just a fable.
Well, we never got to talk about Stonehenge the last time we spoke, did we?
Yes, you did talk about Stonehenge the last time we spoke.
Did we talk about, what would you like to talk about?
I would like to talk about my challenge that I've put out. I put out a challenge, 2 challenges actually, but the one I'm going to tell you about is this one. I said, the Christian God is not a brute fact. Prove me wrong.
Right.
And the other one,
I would counter that with that. It is impossible to prove that Jesus is not God, is what I would counter that with.
And then the other one was
because he is.
okay. And the other one was
you'll never be able to prove he isn't.
Well, then you just as much as you can prove that I'm not.
Well, that's not my goal.
I'm
not what he set me out to do. He just set me out to tell everybody I'm an evil man and I don't believe in him. True story. Paradigms found.
So you're an evil man yourself?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't claim to be a good man. I'm an evil guy.
Really? Ooh.
Yeah.
Care to expound a little bit on that?
Well, sure. I make ultimatums. I'm double-minded. I blame and accuse instead of forgiving. I don't really have I don't branch out like I did when I was younger. I don't get involved. There's rarely an interaction in society in a typical day where there's really any involvement between two people in any way. It's there may be the common courteous hello, how do you do, but conversations are always at the back or untowards and never involving. So
I have a little bit of a confusion. Isn't Jesus and Jesus teachings, Jesus clubs, Jesus communities, aren't they all about just that? People being nice to other people and people caring for other people and pretty much people interacting with other people. But is that correct?
Yeah, socially it seems that way. Yeah. But again, I would have to imagine, because I'm not involved in any of those groups, and anything I would say about it would just be my imagination.
Why, if you're not involved in those groups, and that's what Jesus is all about, then what makes you a Christian, or are you not a Christian?
Well, I'm a man of the earth. I'd say the word Christian is a really good thing, and I'm not really that good of a guy to be able to call myself a Christian.
I would find it very insulting to be called a Christian. Boy.
Well, I don't believe people that call themselves Christians are. I believe that every one of them saw the second coming, the resurrection of Jesus, and they deny it.
Okay, let me ask you this. What is...
I really believe it.
All right, but what is a true Christian? Tell me. Categorically, and this is it that I'm going to take away. What is a true Christian?
In this generation, there are 144,000 children that are innocent, that are the best examples of what Christianity are. They're the children that say bad boom,
in
Boom.
this generation. What is this
Yeah.
generation?
If you want to see what it is to be a Christian,
When
someone
does it?
who really gives love for evil, so a kid who is threatened or tried to be harmed against, and they with open arms still love the person trying to harm them. That's the best example of what being a Christian is.
Wouldn't the best example of being a Christian be the person who is about to be harmed, is able to calmly and diplomatically talk his way out of it and bring the attacker or the suspect to Jesus? Isn't that the whole idea?
Well, being an aged man who has conformed in many ways to the world, there's too much guile in my mouth to really say that I'm a good example of any kind of Christianity. Those 144,000 children are the best example of Christianity on earth. If you've seen any visions of what those children are and what they're like, you maybe in a moment of time saw many days of time, like a life flashing before your eyes kind of thing.
You mentioned,
and those 144,000 children are the best example of it.
You mentioned 144,000 in this generation. I'm just wondering, when did the generation start and when does it end?
I don't know when it started. It happened in our lifetime. Most of them are very, very young children. There's probably none of them that are much older than 18 years or 20 years of age, but most of them are in their youth, boyhood, girlhood, or even toddlers that can now just start to walk. Very young.
Anybody who's died tragically doesn't meet the requirements, or how does it work?
Well, of course it's personal between a person and Jesus, but to deny that they saw Jesus and to deny telling the vision is manifest evidence that they do not believe Jesus is God.
Well, I can totally understand that. I mean, to deny that you believe something that's mythical is not. It's kind of rational to me. That makes sense to me.
It's double-minded, double-tongued, and double-hearted.
No,
like the two little creatures.
not at all.
It's very double-minded.
It's just pure. It's just plain rational, don't you think?
To be a Christian is a person that claims they're a Christian and is not. They're the most difficult.
Well, that's why I asked you, what is it? I asked you that originally. What is a Christian? How do I know that if somebody claims to be a Christian, that person is or is not a Christian? Teach us how to figure it out.
Well, I would just rather patiently wait, and whoever I am in engaging talk with, I would improvise from there rather than make a blanket statement concerning everyone. I don't think I should do that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Are you pro Second Amendment?
Which is freedom of speech, freedom of religion?
No, freedom to bear arms.
Oh, I'm a brute. I say you all have the freedom to go get the mark of the beast, the Omnibar, get $32,000 and die a horrible misery death and poverty if you want. Go ahead. Seriously, there are people that what is going to happen is the economy.
Where are you coming up with this? Where are you going to come? Where are you coming up with
this is biblical future.
Yeah, but the problem is that the Bible itself is mostly fiction, so we can't really take it very seriously.
Well,
You
I
know.
I understand what you're saying, but the Bible is the truth. No one can prove Jesus is not God. It simply cannot be done.
Yeah, but nobody can prove Sidney Winston is not God.
Well, the way when Jesus said that we are gods, what he means is we're able to marry a woman and have a child.
Yeah, but
that is godlike. That is the most godlike thing a man can do.
Yeah, but we've been doing that without Jesus long before Jesus arrived.
Well, it couldn't have been done without Jesus, I say.
Well, I'll tell you something. Nobody could have done it without Sidney Winston, because Sidney Winston is God.
I remember your
prove me wrong.
Your proof of commandments, or your
yeah. So can you prove that I'm not God?
No, I wouldn't want to do that. You're of God.
I'm asking. No.
That makes you God.
Stop dodging and evading. Can you prove that Sidney Winston is not God?
No.
Can you prove that Jesus Christ is not God?
Absolutely not. No, in no way.
What's the difference?
Well, we are made in God's image.
You're all made in Sidney Winston's image? I don't think so.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Well, you just said Jesus Christ, you can't prove that he is not God. At the same time, you can't prove that he is God. So, by the same token, Sidney Winston, you can prove that he is God, and you can prove that he's not God. So, how do you tell the difference?
Well,
I'll tell you one thing. Between me and
Sidney,
between Sidney Winston,
that's just silly.
Between Sidney Winston and Jesus Christ, you know that Sidney Winston exists.
Well, Sidney, that's just silly.
So checkmate, Christians. Got you. What? That they call me Silly Sidney. Why do you think they do that?
I don't know, but I do know all the people that want to be silly about it, or just deny it, that Jesus is God.
We're not denying. You can't deny that Jesus is God if Jesus didn't even exist. And I am claiming to you that Jesus did not exist.
Well, I'm going to lay a little shocker on you. Just a titch of a shocker.
Shock me, Wesley. Shock me.
All right. There will be more people than not that take a laser print of a barcode on their right wrist or forehead, and it will be called the omnibar, the worldly word for it, and they will receive an electronic account of money, no cash, but $32,000 to take the omnibar. And they will be very happy. They can go spend it any way they want. They can't go into a store without the barcode tattooed to their wrist. Burnt into the wrist, actually. A laser
when am I going to get my $32,000 in my omnibar?
When you get the omnibar.
When? I want it now. Now. I want it now.
Well, as soon as you get that omnibar, each of the sets of two barcode numbers are individually, and there's an account set up for your name, electronic money only. No.
When is everybody going to have this set up?
It's going to happen soon.
Soon doesn't. I'm not interested in soon. I need some definite, something targetable, something I can look forward to. So when?
In my lifetime is all I can say about that.
Yeah, one day before I die is not going to help me.
But all of those people are going to get a skin disease.
I got a question for you. You're a man of Jesus, right? can I ask you a question about something that I read in the Gospels?
Sure.
In one of the Gospels, and I wish I could remember which one, regarding the empty tomb, it is written that when the women, no, that there was the stone was gone, and there was a young boy in the tomb sitting on something, and he said, "There's no one here." Who was that young kid?
Well, it was an angel of Jesus Christ, a child.
Oh, whoa. How do you know that? Because I remember reading the piece in the gospel, but I could never figure out who the kid was and never said anything. So how do you know anything about who it was if it's not mentioned in that particular story?
Well, I'll read that story again, and whatever those words are in the Bible, I wouldn't add or change or take away from them, hopefully, and just rely completely on what words are written about it in the Bible as written. King James Version only. That's how I would approach that.
King James Version only? Why?
Well, in English, that is the only Bible that is the way Jesus said it.
Jesus didn't talk English.
He created language. What do you mean he didn't talk
He didn't
English?
speak English. The Bible is not written in the original language
When he said it
of
is time,
English.
it was in English. When he said tell the vision, it was English. When he said tell the vision, you shall heal without money, it was in English.
But the King
When
James
he said,
Bible,
no time to talk Allah,
the King
that
James
was
Bible,
in English.
the King James Bible's only been around for 500 years. How do you figure that? Considering
Was it the 1640s that he appeared to King James and his scriveners?
No, I don't think so,
them
because King James was published in 1611. So
1611.
Yeah,
right.
so
I knew it was the 1600s.
1640s is way after the fact. Too late to the party.
Right.
Right. So we can discount the King James Bible, right? So,
well, that's the only one that he's not going to destroy in English.
It's only 500 years old. It's
all the day the people with the omnibar are dropped dead on the ground, unburied. He's going to destroy all the Torahs, all the Qurans, and all the perverted Bibles, and all the Krishna texts and all the Buddha texts. They will vanish permanently from existence.
And what are we going to be able to do for fun?
It's not going to be a fun time.
Those
7 years are going to be wrath and revelation.
Wrath and revelation. So assuming that I'm still young and healthy when this happens, what can I expect on a daily basis?
Violence, war, fear.
No, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying home like I usually
poverty,
do.
Disease. 7 years of death and destruction and poverty and disease.
Okay, well, assuming I survive that, then what?
Well, I don't think many are going to make it through the 7 years. I know the 144,000 children are.
Did you ever see the movie?
I know that I'm going to.
Did you ever see the movie Mad Max?
Yes, I have.
Okay, well, I'm going to be part of that crew, so don't worry about me. I'm surviving.
Are you gonna be on the front end of a locomotive-fashioned truck with a electric guitar?
I'm gonna be a survivor. So yeah. So
I hope so. It's not going to be
take it from me. I'm not scared of no zombie.
Well, I'm 60 years old. My bones don't bend like they did when I was 20.
Why are you trying to bend your bones?
it's just I'm just making a comment about age and how things become a bit more pragmatic in the older age.
I still feel like I'm 19. I haven't even reached the age 20 yet. I'm still a teenager in my mind. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm still in my 20s in my head too.
There you go. 20s. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe still my
You
teens.
never leave your 20s. It's always in your head. That's
Probably.
yeah. Can I ask you a question? If somebody if somebody's really, really angry and they say 60 years old, what was the 20-year-old person like? Would they have been angry at 20 and they're still angry at 60, or would something have had to have occurred in their life to change them from a happy person to a grumpy 60-year-old?
I can only speak personally. I became a grumpy grunt of a brute. I was pretty happy and very outgoing in my youth and in my 20s in college, and after that, very social minded, had a great group of friends, and in my case, yeah, I became extremely grumpy, extremely frustratingly.
But you're not grumpy now. You're not screaming and shouting. I'm talking about somebody who's on YouTube or on social media on these streams, and all it does in the name of Christianity is spew venom and hatred and insults and humiliation and dehumanization and just ugliness.
I'll take a gander at that. I'll say that one of the causes is man seeking pleasure, and as much pleasure as he can get, but finding out that those pleasures just really are vain and not really that great. And the pleasures are almost a detriment to health and social welfare and togetherness.
What pleasures are you? What are you talking about?
Maybe it's being drunkenness, or maybe it's using drugs, or maybe it's just buying the latest and the greatest new toy. Self-pleasure.
That's old rhetoric.
No, I don't know. It's just my guess.
I'm talking about
one of the reasons for the anger on a deep level is seeking pleasure, getting the pleasures, but they're just not really that good.
I am specifically talking about Darth Dawkins, who has no budget for pleasure. You know that
well,
is?
long suffering is one of the ideals of the carnal body of the carnal man trying to become Christian, is accepting long suffering. It's one of the ideals.
It doesn't make sense to me, though. Why would you accept it? I mean, long suffering is something that you either ignore or cry about.
Well, I tell you what, all those pleasure seekers, they're going to drop on the ground and not be buried, and everybody that walks past them is going to know that Jesus Christ killed them, and they're going to have that omnibar, the 666 on their foreheads and wrists.
So you have a grudge against...
It's going to happen in one day.
You have a grudge against people who seek pleasure?
Well, no, it's not a grudge against them. It's just like maybe perhaps like a parent watching a kid go do drugs and get busted and put in jail when you just want to slap them upside the back of the head and say, "Grow up, kid."
What violence? No, you don't use violence. You never use violence.
Well, it's that kind of frustration. Just seeing mankind go down this sordid, evil rabbit hole, almost. And enjoying it, like there's nothing bad going to happen to them for it, and it's going to turn against them.
So you know what I'm talking about.
Well, I know that the revelation is coming soon, and there's not going to be one happy day in it.
Yeah, but they've been saying that for 2,000 years.
Everyone's
Um,
drunk right now, and there's a hangover coming, and there's no aspirin for it.
Well, I don't think that I don't think that's gonna that's really holding any.
I think
I don't
too.
know where you get the stuff from.
I believe you're holding back on me. That you saw many visions of the future and exactly what's going to happen, and you're just not going to say. That's what I think.
Say it again. I've seen many
holding
visions
back.
of the. Tell me again what you think. I'm sorry, I missed that.
I think that you have seen many visions of the near future, exactly what's going to happen, and you're just going to hold it back for now.
Well, I have, but I haven't seen anything evil and bad. It's all good. It's all positive.
Like I said, you're going to hold it back because
now you're not making sense. I told you I've seen the future and it's positive.
1/3 of mankind is going to die by fire, bombs, and destruction. Another third by diseases. It's going to be hell on earth as it has never been hell on earth before. I think you've seen it.
I think that you're making. I think you're making a claim that you don't really have any evidence for at all, because my vision is all positive. My vision of the future is all positive. It's better than now, because technology is going to help us. Religion is going to fade away. The whole God concept is going to be it's going to be mocked and laughed at. It's just beautiful. I see the future as nothing but positive and better than we are now.
Well, for all I know, Sidney, you weren't even on the earth 4 or 5 years ago, and you just appeared in the blink of an eye with your house and your job and your ID and money and car set up for you by Jesus Christ, and you were given a command by him to be the sickle of death thrust deep into the world, deep into the earth, for the harvest is ripe. And your act, your life, your part in this show of Jesus Christ is to be against him. To come out in against him ways. And that is part of that sickle that's thrust deep into the earth. You may be one of those. They're
why
called
are you so
angels when we're unawares?
Why are you so obsessed? Why are you so obsessed with death?
I'm not obsessed with death. I'm just really.
You're talking about sickle and coming and the future.
They're on a train. They're in a car heading 100 miles an hour into a 7-year thick brick wall, and they think they're not going to be harmed by it. And they're just. Jesus said they'll eat, drink, and be merry, and they'll still be, having children and carrying on. And it's just like this big mad party where inside everyone knows it's getting ready to end and it's going to hurt them, but no one's going to say anything about it, not even one. And it's like, God damn it.
But I don't feel that
F-U-C-K up.
I don't feel that doom and gloom that you seem to know is upon us somehow. All I do know is in
the Bible. I didn't get to see any of those things, and I would love to have seen them. I would probably really hack some people off by pointing specifics out to them, like California being taken out on the disclosed blood of the earth, lava, and the Leviathan.
Why are you so
being destroyed all in one day?
Wesley,
everyone in California killed by Jesus Christ. He's just going to slide California off the face of the earth on a lava bed.
Wesley,
so California is really one big lava lamp.
Wesley,
waiting to be unplugged.
I hate to tell you this, Wesley, but the United States is not the only country on the planet, and apparently Jesus doesn't only have American Christians for children. Apparently, Jesus has like a global audience. So why are you? My question is, why then are you talking about California being thrown into the sea. Why isn't Bangladesh going to be isn't going to suffer the same fate as California?
I suppose I'm trying to provoke you to reveal what you know and hold back by fraud.
I'm not holding back anything.
That's my justice about that.
Your justice.
Yeah, trying to get people to talk about what they know is going to happen. And
I told you what's going to happen.
Communicate about it.
I heard it all from Elon Musk. He's like my God. He's like
you're in Ontario.
He's a modern
and you're simultaneously in New York as
he's a modern day prophet, you know that.
And you're simultaneously in Poughkeepsie as the local janitor for the accountant firm of Dewey, Cheatham and Howe, and simultaneously
you're a director
in Hollywood. Confounding.
You know that
that's extremely uneasy for man to be able to understand.
Do you know that
unlawful thing?
Do you know that Elon Musk is a modern day prophet?
I would say most of the people that have been the captains of industry, the creators of the great inventions of mankind, were not naturally born on earth. That were angels of Jesus put on the earth in the flesh, given a little bit above man. They were given a little bit of extra. They were a clearer mind, a stronger framework, a greater constitution and diligence to work, and a superior amount of being able to learn and retain and create knowledge. And I think most of the inventions that mankind ever came up with were by those angels on the earth when we're unaware.
Why do you think Jesus let mankind come up with these inventions of torture, of human torture? Why do you think that happened?
Well, we're each tested, I suppose, to see if we give love for evil. To see how much love for evil we can muster.
Humankind it loves evil. They lap it up. The more they can't get enough evil. Have you noticed?
Yep.
And you know what it is?
Yes,
it's the Catholic Church promoting all this evil. Don't you agree with me?
I've been to a couple Catholic churches, and I never made it to the end of the service without being spoken to by a security guard or a policeman that escorted me out. I've got the double Jesus over
the
my
Roman
head,
Catholics are a bunch of cunts.
Well, they're not getting the best press in Boston.
I hope they don't. I hope they get no press at all sometime soon. I hope they just disappear into the dustbin of history. Ugh, they should have gone long ago. But people are too stupid to let go.
So I like the congregation. I like the patterns, the consistencies of the worship services. But what I don't like is after I would leave church on Sunday, I was the heathen I was on Friday night. And
obviously,
not the 7 days a week, 24 hours a day congregation guy. I don't like that about
Wesley. There's no difference between going to a church service, going to a movie, going to a play, going to a lecture. It's all you in each of those situations you get taken away from the moment, or from real life into the moment, and you get some kind of a response, right? You get this reaction response thing from the environment. So you're watching a movie, you're right in there.
Sidney, I've been socially separated. Everywhere I go, I am treated per se like a black man in the 30s and 40s in the southern part of America. I am made a fool of. I am hated. I'm never spoken with. I'm always spoken down to.
Yeah, I'm
and
sorry about
always
that.
untoward. And it's been that way for almost 2 decades.
I'm
And
really,
it's a
sorry.
lot of it's hate. It's
Yeah,
smooth,
yeah. I'm
but it's
sorry.
hate.
I'm sorry to have to hear that. It really pains me.
Yeah, there's no love around me, Sidney. If I were a child, I would probably die if it were an experiment to how long a young boy could survive without being loved. I would be a dead man.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really do empathize with your situation in that respect.
Well, I'm okay. I've found ways to survive and to try to smile through the day sometimes.
I know,
most
it's just
now,
that you
I've become reclusive.
Yeah, I understand that, but I've just spoken to you a few times, and you seem to have a pattern of talking about a fearful or fearsome future very soon, and lots of catastrophe and evil and anger and hate and bad, and like this is this is a problem. It's for me anyway. Yet you tell me you try to smile during the day. That smile is just a mask. What's really behind that mask?
Mostly it is. It's not much of a heart smile. It's very superficial. I agree.
Yeah, exactly. What do you have a street name, or do you still call yourself Wesley?
Oh, Wesley, just Wesley Lawrence Curry II.
Oh, because I've heard people call themselves like a boomer and
no,
whatever.
when I was in my first days of college, they called me Jet. When I was in grade school, they called me Dumbo or Big Ears because I've got these huge ears that stick out the side of my head. They don't lay flat; they stick straight.
Oh, I got a question. I got a question for you then, Wesley. Can you fly?
Not yet, but I'm going to without a tin can.
You got to, if you wiggle a little faster, maybe your ears, maybe you will be able to fly.
Actually, I do, particularly when there's a cloud of shit in the middle of a Starbucks coffee shop. I fly immediately to it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a fly. I eat the shit.
Oh, don't put yourself down yet. Don't do that.
I'm trying to be lighthearted. Okay, so much for my poetic prudishness.
Self-deprecating is not working. Self-deprecating humor doesn't work in this situation. I can do it, but you can't.
When it comes to Jesus, there's really only one thing he has given me to teach, and that is the vision and the meaning of it. Anything other than that, I fall short, and I fear saying anything because I do not want to lead anyone astray. So the anointing on me is only for the vision and nothing but the vision and the whole vision, and that's it.
What about the vision of Build Back Better?
Over the last 18 years, unseen by my eyes, voices spoke little things like $32,000, Omnibar, things like that. And those are just sort of, I guess, little things that Jesus is relaying to me in a confounding way.
I would
that I hold on to as at least something to talk about that's from Jesus, other than the vision.
Yeah,
and it's always about the future, and it's always about how terrible it's going to be.
Yeah, okay, but I would suggest that you keep this type of information to yourself. Seriously,
if I could come up with a cure, so I could just hold my peace and be quiet, that would be a great and good thing.
Well, you know what you should do, Wesley? Get,
well,
get
right
yourself
now I'm
get
growing calluses from all the fiery darts that are thrown at my back.
go get yourself a wife, and she'll put you in your place.
I asked 2 women to marry me in my 60 years, but I was never good enough of a man, stable enough to be a husband. So, but I had some of the most beautiful,
hold on a
highly
second.
intelligent women in my life that anybody could ever ask
You
for.
weren't stable enough to be a husband or a father. You didn't have to be a father if you're married. You don't have to have kids, right?
Well, the husband comes first, and then father and dad and all that. But I never got to the husband start. I lived with women. We had the illicit, out of wedlock sex, and we were a couple, and we shared rent, or I paid the rent, and the woman lived with me. But they just did. I didn't turn out to be good enough of a person to really. I enjoyed the excitements of life and the pleasures, and I wanted them, and I didn't hold the stability.
What is with you Christians and the pleasures of life? It seems to me that it's the common. It's the thing too. It's the common denominator. It's the common denominator of all Christian preaching. This so-called pleasures of life, which is somehow so evil for some reason, and it's only the Christians who feel it. I don't get it.
Well, men that have married and have had kids know what it's like to put childish things away. They quit being childish and buying their toys of expense, and they devote their life to their families. So, in that way, they put their childish things away. In that way, they're better than me. Absolutely. In other ways, spiritually, that they don't teach their children about Jesus is, to me, an extremely evil thing and is going to destroy their futures.
Well, you know something? Back in the 80s, when computers were starting to come in, and the 80s were trudging along, and everybody could tell that computers were the future. I remember thinking, something? People born today, or people who are young today, are so lucky, because by the, in 20, 30, 40 years time, everybody will know everything there is to know about computers. There'll be no unemployment. I had these dreams of technology taking care of everything.
I'm fairly convinced that once we die in the flesh and we become angels, that the flesh is still real. It's just so much more magnificent, and the intelligence of life after death in heaven with Jesus it is probably infinite. And truly, the height of mankind's knowledge is nothing more than an ABC lesson in kindergarten in heaven. I think that we have not even tapped into 100th of a percent of our mind's capability.
Well, the thing is,
the common jargon is we use 5 or 10% of our brains, but I don't even think it's 100th of 1%.
I don't understand why we use the little we have to follow irrational and illogical ideas, like, for example, Christianity.
Because it felt good. That's why.
That's not a good reason.
Pleasure. It felt great. It felt good to drink that Guinness stout. It felt good to smoke that marijuana joint. It felt great. It was, fine, and all the problems of the world seemed to vanish. And
why
I had
would
a giggle, and I was having fun. Heck yeah, that's what I'll take. Why would then I become a donkey in Pinocchio?
Why would smoking?
Where Pinocchio was picked up by the.
Why would smoking one marijuana joint ruin your life?
Oh God. Wouldn't ruin it.
Or even having that Guinness. How does it ruin your life? It's only one Guinness and one joint.
there's God inside of you, Sidney, and it looks like
God
a
does
pearl
not.
of snow
God.
white light.
All right.
Now, let me tell
All right.
you.
I'm going to
Let me
take.
finish. Let me finish.
Wait.
and
No.
I'll
No.
tell you
No.
what
No.
it
No.
does.
No. No. That doesn't. That's not the way it works.
It
You made a
destroys
claim.
your
You
soul,
made a
little
claim.
by
No.
little.
No. Stop. 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 You said God lives inside of me, and I'm not disputing. All I'm saying to you, whichever God lives inside of me, if I think about this God living inside of me, I'm imagining this God living inside of me. So when I say that all gods are imaginary, that's what I mean. When you say God and I think God, or if I say God and you think God, neither of us are alluding to exactly the same image in our minds. They're totally different. So that's why we know that all gods are imaginary. So to say that God lives inside me is maybe not untrue, but you can't give the God inside me attributes because you don't know which God lives inside me, if God lives inside me, right?
Well, you know what we don't know what it's like? You know one thing that we don't know what it's like, Sidney? We don't know what life is like on Earth where there are no drugs, illegal drugs. So we can't really say what it'd be like without them, could we?
Well, the Middle Ages, there were no illegal drugs then, so we know what life was like. It was really shit.
Oh, sure there was. There was opium.
I said the Middle Ages, like medieval times, around 1000 of the Common Era, the year 1000, 1,000 years ago.
Look, smoking one marijuana joint is not going to ruin your whole life, but it's going to turn a part of your body,
it's going to make your
mansion,
evening
into a little flake of ash, dead gray ash. And every time, and after 100 joints, you got 100 flakes of ash. And after 10 years of that, you've got 20 ashtrays full of ash.
Well,
that is your soul.
At best,
So
it
doesn't destroy your whole life, that one joint. It does it little by little, but it does destroy.
Well, Christianity doesn't destroy your whole life little by little. This Christianity destroys your whole life, bang, one fell swoop. Done.
No, what Christianity does is it gets you hated by the people that like to do bad things and call them good. And they don't like to be faced or confronted with somebody who doesn't agree with
You know what Christianity is?
And when you're a Christian, you're hated.
Christianity is a religion.
If that's what you mean by the world going boom on you, you betcha. It is.
Christianity is the religion for the lazy.
Well,
I'll tell you
really
why.
believe in Jesus.
I'll tell you why.
There's no way around it.
Let me talk. I say religion is Christianity is the religion for the lazy, because they don't have to live a Christian lifestyle. If you're and you call yourself a religious Christian, but if you call yourself a religious Muslim or religious Jew, you live a certain lifestyle. There's certain laws that you abide by, the customs and traditions within the religion. But when you say you're a Christian, there's no laws, there's no nothing. You don't have to do anything special. It's all in your mind, and you can sort of repent, and nobody has to know that you repented, but you didn't really repent because you don't even know what repentance is. It's a religion for the lazy. That's what I call it.
That's an interesting way to put it. Religion for the lady.
For the lazy.
I like that. Oh, the lazy.
Lazy, as in I'm lazy. I don't want to do anything.
Got it.
Lazy.
Got it. Religion for the lady sounds a little sweeter or tartar.
No. A religion for the ladies is called Sidney Winstianity.
Okay, Sidney Winstianity. You sure I'm not talking to Kurt Vonnegut here?
You might be. You never know.
I might be talking to Steven Spielberg for all I know.
for all you know.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of things that aren't natural. That it's unlawful for man to know that entice and seduce and tempt. And Jesus said, "We'll all be one." There's going to come a day where we're all one again.
That's nonsense.
And
What is it?
I'm ready for that day today.
Firstly, what does it mean? And secondly, how is it of benefit? How is it of benefit to humankind?
Well, it's not meant to be a benefit to humankind. It's meant to confound humankind. It's meant to be.
But you said Jesus said. You said
deep into the world, for the harvest is ripe.
Exactly. That's.
It's
but
meant
you
to
said
be an evil. It's meant to confront a person Jesus wants to test with an evil.
But you said
to see
Jesus
if that
said
person is going to give love for evil or not. And it's
you said
core.
You said Jesus said that, right? I thought Jesus was love, and now he's a sickle, cramming it into the earth.
Yeah, how
this is not the same person.
Killing everybody on the first day of Passover in Egypt love. He's a terrible God too. God is love.
No, he's not.
No,
God's not love. God is an evil God.
But he is a terrible God.
Well, then how can he be loved if he's a terrible God?
Well, it's just his patience wears out, and he has great patience. But after a while, it wears out, and he says, "Okay, no more of that."
Where was he? Where was he during the German Holocaust of the Jews? Jesus, that is.
I don't think he was with the Nazis or the Jews at that time.
Where was he? I didn't ask you where he wasn't. Where was he?
Letting man live by their own devices.
I'm talking about your Jesus. Where was he? 6 years, my friend. 12 years of Hitler. 12 years. Yeah. Where was Jesus even once?
I don't want to answer that question. I'll ask him first.
No.
If he gives me an answer, I'll give you what he said.
No.
But if he doesn't, I'll just say I don't know.
You've given me all the spread and the 144,000 and the scythe and all this kind of stuff. You know your stuff. So you tell me right now. Exactly.
And you saw it.
There you go.
You could have touched it.
So
and you said it didn't happen. Let's talk about reality
here. Where was your Jesus? Where was your Jesus during Hitler?
Well, where was the whole world on August 11th when Jesus gave everybody fish and bread and nobody said anything about it? He was right there. He was right there on every dinner table on earth on August 11th and gave everyone fish and bread. Reality. He pulled the veil between the heavens and the earth aside and presented a plate of fish and bread to every man, woman, and child on earth on August 11th. And he did it 5
and times. Bread. That's disgusting. Ugh.
And no one said anything about it. And what did they say instead?
You know why?
Where was Jesus?
You know why they didn't say anything about it? Because it didn't happen.
Tell me all about it, sickle of death.
It didn't happen, Wesley. Wesley?
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
Well, you say.
Yes, I do. But I do want to know, Wesley, where was Jesus when the Germans holocausted the Jews? I'm waiting.
He was inside each and every one of them, but they wouldn't let him out.
Who's they and they? Who's them? Who's them and they?
He was inside the Nazis, but they denied letting him out.
So Jesus doesn't have any power whatsoever. He's just a useless, imaginary nothing.
I
I tell you what, I'm
we're
right.
not going to be giving you. We're not going to be giving you the Mother Teresa Award this year.
Mother Teresa was
You can
dangerous?
just take that Nobel Peace Prize idea that you were going to get and forget it, Sid.
Well, you're not for peace.
I'm totally for peace, but well, not totally, but that's what I would hope everyone would want.
And why would anybody want fish and bread anyway? It's disgusting. Well, you get this flopping fish and this dry crust of bread. It doesn't make sense. Who would want to eat that?
Well, not much argument from me. They didn't. They didn't want it.
That's because nobody got it.
From Jesus, and so they said nothing about it. And they didn't say thank you, Jesus, so it was removed from them.
Okay, good. Now, back to Hitler. Where was Jesus?
I met Hitler twice. Once.
Make up your mind.
In the flesh. Met him in Chicago. Jesus brought him back down from heaven. After he died, even though he had done evil, Jesus forgave him upon his death and received him in heaven. And Jesus put him back on the earth, and I was in Chicago, and it was 9 or 10 o'clock at night. I was next to the Water Tower Place and on Michigan Avenue in Chicago, and there was Hitler, and he was wearing a red, white, and blue ski parka.
What date
and there was a Hershey's chocolate shop. I think it was a Tuesday or a Thursday, and it was night. And there he was. He wouldn't say a word to me. And
you just said you spoke to him.
I said, how did you? No, well, I did speak to him. He didn't speak to me. I said, how did you get people to listen? Because that was my greatest
imagination.
At that time.
See?
No, he was there in the flesh, and he walked back behind the Hershey's. They have one of those, those boutique stores for this and a boutique store for that. Well, they had a big Hershey's chocolate boutique store, all for Hershey's chocolate. And he walked back behind that chocolate store, and I didn't see him again. I also sat next to Franklin
likely
Roosevelt
story
and his wife at a klezmer concert at the Art Institute of Chicago. Franklin Delano Roosevelt and his wife, and we sat next to each other, the three of us, in a little small auditorium in the art museum, and listened to a Jewish klezmer concert band. And we didn't talk much. He didn't speak any words to me, really, none at all.
So none of these people that you've met that are famous have ever said a word to you. They're just there, and you're just there, and either you might talk to them, but they never say a word to you. It's like they don't even know. They don't even know that you're there. It's like you're invisible to them.
Not when they're in the flesh, the strange apparel that I know, that I am more than familiar with. They are also put on earth sometimes with just a little bit of contour change to the flesh, slightly changed in certain ways that hint at who they were in history.
Oh yeah,
that are changed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's something that it's not easy for man to know.
What dates did you meet Hitler and FDR? Were they the same day? What year was it?
It was around the same month, I believe, because at that very same time, Jesus was putting a lot of big historical names in my path.
All right. What year was it?
Gary Cooper, the movie star. I saw him at the Art Institute, and it was absolutely him. It was unequivocally nobody else but the Gary Cooper that played, Rourke in the Ayn Rand Fountainhead feature film.
I didn't see that, but I didn't see that. But what I want to know is, what I want to tell you is that you are the poster boy for imaginary gods.
Well,
seriously,
when we get to heaven, I don't think I'm going to look like as crazy as they made me out to be.
Well, there is no heaven.
We all get upstairs.
Yeah.
When we all get upstairs above the clouds, Sidney, I think that people are going to realize that I wasn't quite as insane as the psychiatrist made me out to be.
Well, the thing is, heaven is imaginary. So if you still believe that heaven is a thing, and you're older than, say, 7, then the problem is not heaven, because heaven doesn't exist. The problem is you thinking that heaven exists.
Well, you're still going to have to go to heaven. It's the heaven made by
I just
Jesus
said
Christ.
there's
You're
no
gonna
heaven.
like it,
I just
Sidney.
told you. I just
I know, but I but you're going to heaven whether you like it or not, young man.
I just revealed to you that there is no heaven. Wesley.
Yeah, I get a lot of train wrecks with a big bright headlight aimed on the rails right at me, and it's making me feel like I'm tied to the tracks. That happens quite often, Sidney. So you go ahead, choo-choo, Charlie.
Are you still in your tent? Are you warm? Are you secure?
Yeah, it's like 28 degrees. I got myself a propane heater. I'm warm. I got plenty of blankets. I got myself plenty of food. I got change of clothes. I've got all the necessities of life.
You're dry.
I camp out. I'm fine. Okay. Oh yeah. The only really frustrating thing is I got to go over to this homeless advocacy group to take showers. So I only shower about once every week. So that's a little ugly.
Can't you go there every 3 days or something?
Yeah, I could go over there every day if I want, but who wants to hang around with a bunch of, ex-movie stars that are doing crystal meth? It's just not really my kind of crowd.
I thought you said you went to go there to have a shower.
Yeah, I do go over there. I go over there to do laundry and take a shower, but for the most part, I'm reclusing myself from most social things now, just out of frustration.
Well, I understand that. I understand
the hate
that.
thrown at me. I've gotten tired of it. I'm just too old for this kind of thing. So yeah, I did 8.5 years of Jesus on the streets, solo, plugging away. Nothing could stop me. Not right, left, up, down. Nothing against me could stop me from telling the vision. And I went out and did it every day for 8 years without missing a day. And I just got tired of it.
And
I got tired of not being listened to.
You're in California?
No, I'm in West Virginia. Almost heaven.
Where are you really?
I am in a tent. 10 by 9, very nice.
I know you're under
Ozark Trail tent.
Are you under the same bridge?
I'm 20 feet from the Ohio River.
I have no idea fucking even where the Ohio River is. I didn't even know there was an Ohio River.
It's a river. It's the next biggest river would be the Mississippi River.
So I thought you were in California or in Oregon or somewhere on the West Coast.
I was in California back in the late 80s up to the 1990s in San Diego.
So now you say you're in West Virginia.
After I left, I was in Chicago after San Diego
for
like 20, 30 years.
Where is West Virginia? I don't even know that I don't know even where that is.
I was brought up in West Virginia, and so I knew the land. I knew what it was going to be like. I knew that the cost of living would be the cheapest in the country, and that's why I moved here. I moved here specifically to write orchestral music and live as inexpensively as possible as I got older.
Do you still have family in West Virginia?
Yeah, I've still got immediate family about 40 miles from here.
Do they ever reach out to you?
Huh?
Do they ever?
No, they don't.
Do they know? Do they know?
Call me.
Do they know where you are?
I don't. Yeah, they know I'm here. They've known I've been here for about 4 years now. But yeah, I was a problem person. I was a severe drug addict, and that really stained my record with them. So deeply did it stain them that they don't want anything to do with me now.
Wow, you must have hurt them. You must have taken them for a lot of money or something.
There was money involved, yes.
That's what I think.
I had a grandmother that lived in that town, and when I would run out of my checks from my job designing exhibits, I'd call her up for a couple $100, and I would do that regularly, and she would, without fail, send it to me, and then I would go right out and spend it on drugs. And they knew it, but they still gave me the money. And
are you still?
I never stole from them ever, but they considered it to be theft. And I say spiritually, I did steal from them, that I spent it on drugs.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is theft.
Do you still?
And they really hurt them deeply, and it's a pain that they're not healed of yet. So.
Yeah, that's too bad. But do you still receive therapy?
No.
Are you still seeing a psychiatrist?
No, I don't.
Why not? Why not?
Because I got the dove of Jesus over my head, and I say to one of them, "You see a dove of Jesus over my head?"
You say you have
this guy needs some Haldol. Let's get some Therazine in this guy right now. Let's put him in the rubber room.
Anybody with a dove of Jesus over the head needs to see a psychiatrist.
Yeah. Jesus gave me his dove, Sidney.
Well,
the dove of Noah's Ark, the star of Bethlehem. It's floating over my head.
Maybe you can pay for your
female dove in ghost form. Everybody can see it everywhere I go, and it's like hunting season for doves everywhere I go.
Well, maybe
wherever I go,
maybe you can pay the psychiatrist with a dove.
Yeah, well, I can talk in every language known to mankind too, but they won't write that down on my record.
Can we talk in Hebrew?
I'm not allowed by Jesus to do it over the phone that I know of.
I can talk to you in Hebrew.
I can ask him to do it. I can
ask
him to, but I don't.
But I can talk to you in Hebrew if you say you can talk every language on earth.
Jesus, will you let everybody hear me speak in Hebrew as I speak on the phone? I'm pretty sure he says no.
Okay. I'm pretty sure. Okay. How about a different language besides Hebrew? I know more than one language. If I choose a language that's not Hebrew, would that be okay with Jesus?
Well, you have to understand, being able to speak in every language is in this way. I speak in English, and he transforms the very acoustics, the very sound waves of my voice by the Holy Spirit of Jesus into any language I say. And if a person is about 10 feet or 10 yards or further away from me, whatever language I say that they will hear me in, they hear me in that language. And if I were in front of the United Nations and everyone in that room spoke a different language, I could stand at the podium and I could speak about the vision and the Bible. And he would have everyone in that room, each of them,
in the United Nations,
in their own language.
In the United Nations,
I could speak.
I got news for you.
I could tell everyone in the United Nations to take their translating headphones off.
I got news for you.
I would speak, and they would all hear me in their own languages, and that is how that miracle is done.
Okay, well, you really should. You really should speak to somebody.
I think.
And are you
goes to Jesus Christ?
Yeah, Wesley.
Not to me.
Wesley, are you on medication?
No, I'm on acetaminophen and Motrin. I take a lot of that. I have headaches all the time. So
acetaminophen and ibuprofen.
And that metformin for diabetes.
Yeah,
no, I don't take any psycho.
I'm talking about this
psychoactive.
Not psychoactive. No. I'm talking about psychiatric meds.
None whatsoever.
Well, have you considered?
Oh, I tried them. I tried many of them. The Haldol, the I don't know what they call them all now. I tried them all. They made me worse than.
Well, I'm just wondering. You can't try them all. I mean. I take psychiatric medication, and I certainly don't try them all. I was diagnosed, and I've been taking the same one for a couple of decades now. But
The side effects were worse than the illness.
I don't feel any side effects.
Yeah, the side effects for me were worse than the illness.
I've taken like 2 or 3 or 4, tried to do 2 or 3 or 4 over the years, but I never had any side effect. What do you mean by side effects? Like rashes and things?
Restlessness, extreme restlessness. And it was like I would sit down and my mind would tell me that I had to stand up. And so I would stand up and my mind would tell me I had to sit down. It was like that constantly.
It's
and
not.
It was compounded by a grogginess.
Sometimes
like I was under a sodden.
Sometimes it's a trial and error. You don't get it. They don't get it right the first time. I would think I was kind of lucky, but they don't always get it right the first time, especially if you're not 100% truthful with your doctor.
Well, I quit praying to Jesus for sobriety. Now I just cuss him out for it. He's not going to let me be sober until the day I die.
So
he's not going to let me be healed mentally to full capacity until the day I die.
No, that's not true.
So.
Until you accept.
It's true.
Until you accept.
Said so in his word. He said, he put an iniquity on my shoulders that shall not be removed until the day I die. He said, I shall turn and toss you violently like a ball into a large country. There thou shalt die. There the chariots of my glory shall be the shame of the Lord's house.
As long as
I will call thee on that day I like them.
As long as you think that's what's going to happen.
I know it's going to. I have no doubt about it.
You have no way
absolutely
of
zero
improving your situation.
It's more than proof. It is that, and it is nothing else. And he's not going to let me be stable mentally until the day I die.
Okay. Well, look. As long as you've got somebody with you, and if it has to be Jesus, then it's Jesus. That's fine. I think that's okay. So
he did things to people in the Bible. There was a king that in history that really happened that he mentally incapacitated to an extent where this king of a small kingdom was out eating grass with cattle for 7 years. And then Jesus removed the iniquity from him, and he became sober and went back to changed his mind about doubting Jesus was God after that. 7 years he put him out to pasture, put a guy out into the fields eating grass with cows. So, Jesus can be a terrible God, and he's a loving God. And my thrust of the message I get is tell this vision. If you don't, you're going to find a terrible one.
Well, I'm sorry that life has taken such a downward turn for you.
Oh, it's not so bad. One of my lessons
doesn't sound great. Doesn't sound great.
Loathing sucks. When I hear it, it just makes me feel like I'm being dragged into the mire. So if it's the real story, I think it's heard, at least approached to being heard. If it's the real story, what the real heart is. If it's not the heart, then you can probably just have fun with it and toy with it like it's the next great Ziploc Glad bag.
Well, I just find it a little bit of a shame that you can't make good use of your natural talents, your creative talents. Instead,
it's killing me. It's my medicine. Yeah, writing orchestral music was the best thing that happened to me mentally. It sobered me. It got me up in the mornings to work 10, 12, 16-hour days every day, figuring out where the oboes fit with the violins, fit with the percussion. It was just a wonderful thing.
Did you have some kind of
for 3
a
years I got to live that luxury.
yeah? Do you have some kind of a? Do you have a doctorate in musical composition?
No degree. I studied in university level, and then I struck out on my own, and I got into a piano, and I practiced my ass off till I could play Rhapsody in Blue blindfolded, and I started picking up professional jobs from there. The real gigs, not the teacher gig in the school, at the high school, at the college, the real Second City gig, the real professional feature film gig.
Did you
where
ever?
The best of the best meet the best of the best, because they're really.
Did you ever
they know
learn?
the difference between great, good, and schlop.
Did you ever learn?
They won't settle for good.
Did you ever learn to play anything other than Rhapsody in Blue?
Oh, hell yeah! I play all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. I had some pyrotechnics. I could scherzo Chopin, and I could. What I could really do is I could improvise. I could make. People would throw ideas up to the stage at Second City, and the comedians would take those ideas, 3 words, and turn it into a 15-minute created play that had never been heard before. And I'd be there at the piano writing the music for it as they went along. And I was very good at that. And it was the best job I ever had. Because I didn't have to learn anything.
All right. I'm just going to bring this to a very silent ending. Because I've been going on too long.
The same thing twice.
I'll talk to Wesley a little bit for a little longer. But for all of you out there, thanks for watching.
Create wonderful music on this.
I'll be back. Stay rational.
Guys, what could ever be better than that?
Take care.
It was pretty good. It wasn't schlock stuff. A lot of the musicians in the Second City, they do this minimalist, one note, one chord, repetitive thing.
Oh, yeah?
Not me, balls to the wall, rub them deep, leave my pubic hairs planted on the ceiling like a Sistine pubic chapel.
Now you're just being obscene.
Well, I'm just being like I was after we'd finish a gig and go to the tavern and have a Guinness, that's all. Yeah, obscene. You're correct.
Worldly, yeah.
Yeah, it's hell to hear a guy with a dove talking about stuff like that. You're an interesting person. Now let's find out about you. I don't know anything about you, interesting person.
About me.